Hi, I'm Michael with the U.S. Hydroponics Association, and I have a question for you. Have you ever grown a perfect orchid? One you wish you could keep in bloom forever? If so, or if you want to grow perfect orchids, then pay close attention, because no one can freeze time. But by watching this short presentation, you can learn how to grow picture-perfect orchids just about every time you try. So stick around, because you're going to learn the single biggest problem impacting the fragrance and beauty of your orchid blooms, and discover how to set up a simple system that produces orchids pretty enough for a prom queen with a fragrance fit for the finest perfumer's bottle, with less work than you might think. All by removing the biggest limiting factor affecting your orchid's growth. But watch now, because I can't say how long this page will be here for free. So, what is the single biggest factor hurting your orchids? It's your growth medium, because your grow medium affects everything. It affects how much water and nutrients are available to your orchid's root system, as well as how much oxygen can reach the roots, both of which are crucial to orchid development. If there's organic matter in your grow medium, you have big challenges, because the organic matter is slowly decaying, causing rot and mold. But look, it's not like you're doing something wrong here. The same thing happens in nature. In nature, orchids don't always achieve their maximum beauty and fragrance either. There are just too many factors that are constantly changing. That's why the perfect orchid only comes along once in a blue moon. But there is a fix for the problem. A system that removes the variables and produces orchids at their full potential by providing the optimum growth environment 100% of the time so your orchids can flourish. Just imagine your orchids reaching full potential, not by some secret or magic, but by giving them everything they need all the time on autopilot. Now, what kind of a system am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about a hydroponic system, but not one of the $500 and up units you'll find online and in hydroponic stores. I'm talking about one you can build for yourself for under $75 with parts from your local big box store. So why hydroponics? Well, for starters, because hydroponics simply means growing without soil. So orchids grow hydroponically in nature, on rocks and in trees, not in the soil. Now, I think we all know what happens when we try to fight Mother Nature over a plant. And I think we know what happens when we work with her. Yet, a lot of orchid growers surround the root ball with grow medium. And, without a hydroponic system, that's what you're forced to do. But it's pretty easy to see why they're not growing orchids to their full potential, if they're even able to grow them at all. Now, there is one change from nature with the system that I'm talking about, the hydroponic system. Because unlike in nature, with the system you're about to see, you control all the variables all the time. The system mists your orchid's root ball from all four sides with a fine mist of water and nutrients. It can be scheduled to run constantly for water-loving orchids, or to turn on and off on a schedule for orchids that don't like so much water. Now that means that your orchids receive the perfect amount of water and nutrition for optimal growth all day, every day. And it also means the roots will have plenty of oxygen available to them because they're not surrounded by a grow medium. Now, oxygen to the roots is crucial. It's critical if you want to grow beautiful, fragrant orchids every time. Plus, on top of that, the mist actually helps keep the humidity around your orchids higher than normal, which orchids love. And the humidity keeps the orchid's arch enemy, the spider mite, away, because spider mites can't live in high humidity. Now, are you starting to see why you can expect some picture perfect orchids just about every time with a system like this? Well, I wish I could take credit for coming up with it, but I can't. I'm just a guy who got interested in orchids. But Tom Blount has been growing them for over 25 years. He's done it as a hobby grower. He's even done it as a commercial grower. He's a leading expert in growing all things hydroponically, all kinds of plants. And he's constantly being paid big bucks to travel around the country as a consultant to commercial farmers. Well, despite his hectic schedule, I managed to get him on the phone to answer all my questions about growing orchids hydroponically. He told me everything I wanted to know, like what I've been telling you so far about why you'd even want to grow orchids hydroponically. But he also shared with me how anyone can get started growing beautiful orchids this way with parts from a local Home Depot and a garden supply shop. And the best part, the parts all cost less than $75. I mean, honestly, I was shocked by how easy it is, even for someone brand new to orchid growing. told me how to tweak the system to get the orchids to stay in bloom for as long as possible, and even how to trigger the plants to go into bloom. For over a half hour, I grilled him with question after question, and he answered every one and then some. I'm glad I recorded the whole conversation, because by the time he was done, he had shared with me all the details you need to grow amazing orchids through every phase of their growth cycle. Like what kind of water to use and what kinds of nutrients, and these are important, as well as how to run the system in less than 5 minutes a day. And probably one of the more important things he shared was which kind of popular hydroponic system will kill your orchids fast. When we were done, my head was spinning because, man, he had dropped so much information on me. So I took the recordings and I had it typed out word for word, so you won't have to try to remember it all. Then I took the transcript and turned it into a hydroponic orchid cheat sheet, something you can look at for a quick reminder of what Tom taught. And that's when I started building the hydroponic system. And because I knew I'd be sharing this system with you, I recorded step-by-step videos of how I built it. I mean, every little detail, from what to buy at Home Depot and where to find the 2 things that you can't get at Home Depot. The step-by-step videos of me building the system. And I put them all on the U.S. Hydroponics Association website as the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint. Now, this step-by-step videos, the recorded interview with Dr. Tom Blount, transcript of the interview, the hydroponic orchid cheat sheets, the shopping list, the parts lists. In other words, everything that you need to grow picture perfect orchids just about every time are all being made available for a limited time to Ryan's customers at a huge discount. Now, by now you're probably wondering what this is going to cost, and I can assure you that it's nowhere near the $500 you'll pay for even a cheap hydroponic system if you order one pre-built for you. The Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint isn't even half of that at the normal price of $197. But you can own the entire system and grow picture perfect fragrant orchids for only $47. That's over 75% off the regular price. So go ahead and claim the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint for yourself today by clicking that big Add to Cart button below. When you do, you'll be able to access all the training instantly online. Plus, you'll receive a huge bonus absolutely free. A couple of weeks after this special discount ends, I'm going to schedule a free training class with Tom Blount, exclusively for the owners of the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint. Tom will answer all of your questions about growing orchids on that training call. Anything you can come up with, you'll be able to ask him directly and he'll answer you right there on the call. Now, getting Tom on the phone for even 1 hour would cost more than this entire training program, even at the regular price. But you get total access to pick his brain for free, and you have a full 60 days to try out the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint risk-free. If you're not satisfied with the system for any reason at all, or no reason at all, simply ask for a refund and you'll be promptly and courteously returned every single penny of your investment. That's 2 full months to decide if this is worth what you pay today or not. And your refund is guaranteed because we use a third-party merchant. They'll do the refund whether we like it or not, so all you've got to do is ask. So the only way we stay in business is by delivering exactly what we promise. So it makes sense that if you want to grow the best orchids possible, you need to put all the variables on your side. And this autopilot system, it does exactly that for you at a fraction of the price of a pre-built system. And that's including buying this training and all the parts you'll need to build your system. So it makes sense to go ahead and claim the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint for yourself today by clicking the Add to Cart button below right now. Because this discount won't last. At any time, we may raise the price back up to $197, and then you're going to have to pay full price. And besides, you've really only got 3 basic options at this point. I mean, not to put too fine of a point on it, but basically option 1 is to do nothing with what you've seen here today. But because you're still here, I'm kind of assuming that you do want to grow even more beautiful, more vibrant orchids. Otherwise, why would you still be here? Well, so if so, then doing nothing's, it's not going to help you grow those orchids. So option 1 really isn't that great of an option. But option 2 is to go in, you could try and figure this out on your own. It's possible. I had Tom's instructions with me, and it took me literally no less than 10 trips to Home Depot before I got all the parts right. So if you try to do it without Tom's instructions and without my shopping lists, without my step-by-step instruction videos, well, let's just say that you're going to invest a lot of time into this project. And, you're probably going to wind up getting frustrated trying to figure it out. And, you probably wind up someplace like this, either back here or someplace similar, and you're going to want to buy the Hydroponic Orchid Blueprint. Except the price is probably going to be $197 by then. So, option 2 isn't that great of an option either. Which leads us to option 3, which is, by far the best option. Option 3 is to just try out the system, try it out risk-free. You got 60 days to try it out. And you can do that today by clicking the Add to Cart button below, and, right now before the price goes up for good. Okay, so this is it. This is your chance. Go ahead and click the Add to Cart button right now.